Good evening. So, today I want to talk about reflections, whatever that even means. But I'm going to let my soul speak while I have this time and this quiet. Peace, silence, your spirit. And then you remember. You remember everything about your soul. Everything is made simple. All what has been forgotten, twisted, made gray. When you don't have to search outside, when you don't have to be pulled from this direction to this direction. When you're just able to just remember, when you're able to spend a significant amount of peace and quiet, that's where you find that's where you find yourself. Even though you yourself was with yourself this whole time, but you can actually hear yourself. Great. My fridge came on. It was so quiet. It was so nice and quiet. Ah. Um, like I was saying. If I could just, I could, matter of fact, I could unplug my fridge, but I actually have some stuff in there. I have some greens and stuff, so I can't do that. Dang, I would have though. Okay. Like I was saying, and this is an example when something pulls you, you're distracted, pulls you away from hearing yourself fully, seeing yourself fully. That's devastating. It's like a nightmare. And to have, and to look back and know that I was in this loop of this illusion and that I couldn't wake up from it. That I couldn't wake up from not seeing myself, not hearing myself, not knowing myself. Is a regret that's worth regretting, is a wound that is remaining. And I feel for good reason, because you don't want that to happen to get again. And for that to happen, for you to be able to forget yourself, for you to be able, for that to be almost like a choice, is just devastating. And this is the only time I can have the time to remember that, because everything outside pulls me away from it. Everything outside of myself. Because remember, my love, my desires, my passion, who I am, and all that I am is inside of me. And who that may be. So that's inside. But everything outside, as you can now see, is not for me. Is not necessarily what I need. It won't tell me anything about me. It's just a devastating thing. It's devastating in a way where you need to see it for what it is. In a world where you're not you. You don't remember who you are. That's, there's no words. It's just an emotion. It's a color. It's gray. The feeling is disgusted. It's sour. And this is the reality. This is the version we're in. My bag is about to fall. I can hear it. There's a lot of stuff that I was gathering to give away. I put it right there. I put everything near. Okay, so it's not gonna fall then. But yeah, so make sure it doesn't fall. But that's what it is. It's living a version where you don't remember. How do you think that would make you feel? To have lived a life where you couldn't see. Instead, you fed trauma, you fed comfort. In that version, we all may have come across that version of phase in our life where you look in a reflection and your comfort zone has and is destroying you. But that's what we feed. We feed the surface because inside something's missing. But since we can't hear fully, we don't understand, we don't remember how to get back, how to fix it, how to just feel again, how to be. We don't seek. We just find what's convenient. We find the next best thing. And the next best thing is whatever's available. I don't need the masses to lie to me, try to hide such things. When inside, my spirit is trying to tell me that you're more than this. You're more than this trauma. You're more than this comfort zone. Break free. Leave. Walk away. Do whatever you need. But do it. That's why I can wake up and change. Because my soul is always trying to remind me it only takes that moment. And I don't question it. When I come to the realization, I don't question it because I had a feeling, a knowing. But now I receive confirmation in a feeling or a dream. It was enough to move me, motivate me, inspire me. Just like that. That's why you never get comfortable. You never feel you're secure. I know that because, again, I can wake up, literally wake up at any moment and not look at things the same. Most of the time, I've looked at things and already knew I didn't want them. But we try to hold on to things because they're convenient. Even if we're not using it, it's still there for comfort. We feed on it. And then in that moment of realization, confirmation, you say, I'm done. You say to yourself, I'm leaving. And there's no questioning it because you already knew what to do. You already wanted to. In someone's life, it may show up as fear. Maybe fear was the thing that stopped you. To me, it's not fear. It could just simply be not remembering, and now you do. Remembering that it's okay to throw something you just brought away. Though you just brought it, you know you don't want it, you know you don't like it anymore. It bothers you, it bothers your spirit. And you know that you will let it go, but instead of today, you'll think that, well, I'll give it another week or two. But in that moment of realization, when you wake up, you say it's gone today. It will be gone today. And once you do, the sooner you do, the better you feel. Making things simpler for ourselves. Where does that come from? Comfort, security, keeping things longer, feeling obligated, trying to make things work. But in all those things, if you just don't want it and you just don't like it, maybe you did yesterday, but today you don't, let it go. Leave. Change it. And being that certain way will affect you, people around you. But remember, this is your journey. It's not that you don't love and care. You do. But you've come to this point in life, in your life, where now you've been given the sight to see. And when you start to see, you start to change things. In that moment, in that second, at any moment, you'll change. Things will change regardless because now you see. Things were not made to stay the same. You realize you're starting to take control of your life without trying. And though we try, Lord knows we try to control everything. This point of control is all spiritual, soulful. Listening to my soul. My flesh like it, but my soul don't, so change it. I'm in alignment with it. That control is freedom. There is no regrets. There won't be. When I let my soul guide me, not my eyes. And again, the only time, as I take time, when it's given time, the soul, when it's given time, given your soul time to breathe, to be out in the forefront. Let it be, let it be. You'll start to hear some things. You'll start to see some things. And I'm not saying physically. You'll start to know to see, know to hear these things when you allow your soul to be out in the open. But you have to give it the time. You have to give it a significant amount of time to reach the surface. You know how deep it is? Has to feel safe. Has to feel welcomed. It won't force it. You have to allow it. You have to choose to embrace the soul. Just as when I wake up and I remember I had a dream, I thank my soul. It is welcomed. Dreams are welcome. Dreams. Such as dreams. Even that alone It needs time. It's not in your control. But what is in your control? Just being open. When you're a quote unquote busybody, it distracts you from this. It distracts you from you. And there's so many worlds, so many people's lives you're living. But are you living yours? You're in their life. You're in their time. That's regretful to one's soul. Because this is your journey. And this is just the beginning. From our recollection, at least. Because I've lived many lives. But at least in this one, from my recollection, this is the beginning. I need to at least wake up to the realization that I'm living someone else's life. At least. That's the first thing. You have to wake up to be able to choose yourself, choose to take time. And you need a good, significant amount of time consistently, steady. It truly hurts me to know that my soul is suffering. That's hell, isn't it? To know that your soul is suffering, to know that it could, that's hell. But it's true. This might not be fiery brimstone, but this is hell. This is one hell of a place where my soul suffers. And if you can't recognize it now, who's to say that if you actually go to hell or in other hellish places that you'll be able to recognize it then? This is hell of a place, is it not? And to think that someone's soul wouldn't be suffering in such hellishness is hurtful to me. That I can distract myself. I cannot make time to hear my soul, to listen to my soul's suffering. And keep myself, quote unquote, busybody. Yeah. Quote unquote, surviving. So I'm working, making money. Yeah. Serving others. Yeah. Catering, quote unquote, being submissive. So that's what's expected. Yeah. But none of those things was my soul's desire. None of those things are building up my soul. It's deepening the wound. It's suffering. It's suffering because it's neglected. And only time that it feels safe to be, that it's allowed to be first on the surface, is when I make time for it. And I sacrifice everything outside of that. Everything outside that's expected. Sacrificing the flesh for the soul, for the spirit. I gotta take time away from something. Something's always having to be sacrificed. But it is time, because it should not come to be regretful. It'd be the most regretful thing that you'd ever regret in your whole existence, to regret one's soul. Whew. Hurts me, because your soul is, it's you. My soul is me. It's my desires. It's my need. It's my destiny. It's my journey. It's my dreams. But I'm in someone else's life. I'm living someone else's dream. I'm watching them. I'm listening to them. And though I may not be strong all the time, and I fall asleep and I'm distracted, or I choose it, I fall weak, I also still stand. I still rise again. I still wake up. And that's why I acknowledge it. Because I'm not dead. I'm not defeated. I'm not depleted. But it is heavy. This curse, this will, whatever this is, in this hellish place, it exists and it is valid, because it is happening and it has happened to me, and I feel it and I know it and I'm living in it. So I'm acknowledging it. And I know that I have to balance my spirit and my flesh. I know that something has to be sacrificed. I know that there's always work that needs to be done. Work. Whether I'm physically laboring at my physical job that pays my rent, or I'm at home spiritually working, it is all still draining. It is all still work. Because I have to take time away. I have to take time out. And and that's why they say you have to work. Because if you're not working, you're sleeping. If you're not working, you're sleeping. And that comfort is like deadness. That that sleeping is like sleeping death. That is why it's either you're working or you're distracted. You're working or you're distracted. But to fall asleep and to stay asleep is to just be dead. And you're not dead. You still have will. You still have power. You still have breath. We should only be sleeping when necessary, when needed, and when we have our dreams normally. But outside of normally getting our sleep to rejuvenize, to charge up these bodies because they're weak and they're temporary, we always have to work. For the souls, for the flesh. These things that I'm acknowledging are true. But I'm expected statistically to, I don't know, because I'm not you. But if I could maybe think like you, statistically, you would expect me to not focus on these things, to not feel the need. Because what is it going to do? It's only going to stress me out. I can't control these things. Like, why should I take upon all of this stress or this burden? Why not just be regular? Why not be just a wife, a mother, this and that? Why not? Why not just be a regular girl, a normal woman? You know why? Because I can't unsee. I can't unknow what I know, but I'm sure if I did not know, then that would consider me normal. But I can't help but know what I know, and that is what it is. And you take that and you see, this is my purpose. Not only that, but it is freeing when I speak about the soul, about myself, instead of serving, laboring outside of myself, instead of distractions and watching other people's lives, instead of thinking that I could just buy a ticket and go on some type of whatever you want to call it, vacation, because the whole point of it being vacation is to get away, to breathe, but to think that that would be enough, for me at least, for me, I'd be a fool, but I could try. And though we try, but as I've spoken, these things follow us. What follows us? We, our past, our future, everything. We carry it. I could go. I could save up some money and buy a ticket somewhere. And I say somewhere because anywhere. There's no one place that is calling me. And that's because the whole point was to just get away from where I'm at now. But what am I even saying? What am I trying to get away from? If I don't have a destination, a set destination, what am I so why am I so desperately needing to get away? I say this because it's my point. You're just running from yourself. Understandably, because that would be an amateur move to run, but to know is to not, is to face it. Amateurly, you wouldn't think that way. You think just to go. But this is what it is. And it is that you have to face it, and facing it means dealing with it where you're at and saving time and money. Once you face it, then you can do all the trips you want. Go anywhere because you'll be ready. You won't be taking such burden. Again, you can go where you want to go, but I'm telling you the truth that if you are carrying something, if there's something that you need to face, don't run. Wait. Because there is an order for things. There is a time. And if you try to control that time, that order, well, you're slowing and delaying. That's all you're doing. You want to be ready? We all have to get ready for the next thing for us and for what we want to do in life. That message is in everything. So we're here. And I can't live a life where someone's living it for me. I someone's controlling it, someone's programming it. And though they try, though they have tried, and they're still trying, the most regret in my whole existence would be me not trying hard enough for me not trying hard enough for my soul when I had the time When there was a little shining light, I could have followed it. Even though everything outside of that was dark, distracting, easy, comforting. Once I see that little light and I choose to just rather continue what I'm doing, that is when the regret comes. Real regret. Because you don't always get this time. Mm-mm. And you want to think that God gave you this time because it could have been different. To have peace is what rich meant is. You're talking about selling your soul for something, for peace, for sanity. As you see, that's what I'm doing. We're all, I wouldn't say selling, I wouldn't use that, but we all have chosen, we all have chosen to sacrifice something. You see, sacrificing your soul. When I do this, I'm sacrificing, I'm losing the world, I'm losing time from what, how you can see it. When I could be out from what people would think living life, whatever that means. See, to me, I know it's not life. I know it's not, I know I'm not missing out. But I have to say it the way that the world could understand it, that I am losing the world. I am losing time. I'm sacrificing it because I choose to spend it with my soul, with me alone. And the more time I do that, you see, the time it takes away from the world, losing every time because I'm losing time. I'm getting older. In a world, that means something. In this world, it means something because each year you get older. You're not as fresh, you're not as tender, you're not as, but I mean, that's the way the world sees it. You're as bright, as tender as you just are. But again, I have to speak the way the world speaks. So in all that, the message is still the same. I'm losing time when I choose to sacrifice my soul for peace and quiet and self. Because I'm away from my family, I'm not making any progress on the surface, right? I'm not making relations when this time could have been spent on building my relations on the surface, building my relation with family or just anything. But instead, I'm sacrificing my soul. I'm losing the world, but I'm gaining. I'm gaining me, my soul. I'm gaining what my soul has been trying to tell me. I'm gaining that knowledge, that wisdom of who I used to be, who I am in a world where there's such hellish things and you can get lost in their all their philosophies. I am just a soul that is not just here among you, but I'm a soul remembering that this is temporary. not being told by the world, but actually remembering. And remembering because of who I am. And who you are will not lie. Who you are, don't hide it. Just be who you are, because it will guide you. It will show you the way. It will never disappoint you. You can control that. Control in knowing what your future would be, with knowing that you're going to allow your soul to guide you. It won't steer you wrong. And yes, we'll get distracted, because along the way, that just comes with it. Right? You call it imperfection. Okay, it comes with it. But gosh, to just not wake up, to not wake up. You call that depression? I mean, there's no words for it. This is hell. That has to be hell of a mind. And only thing that helps that hell of a mind is a little comfort to make it okay just for a minute. But it's still hell. But we find convenience to get us through. But here's the thing. I won't accept it. I won't accept just convenience just to get us through the next day, when there's just truth. There's a cure. There's a way. But you'll be sacrificing, you see. And what is this world about? It's all about sacrifice. No, it's not about drugs, sex, and money, But that has override, of course, because that's the distraction. This world is about sacrifice. See through all the fog to see you're always sacrificing. It's not about being a mother, being a father. It's not about that. It's about sacrifice, because regardless of all those things, you're still sacrificing. I want you to see, yes, all those things can come in as a factor, but as a factor of sacrificing, what is this world about? It's about sacrificing. So that goes with every decision you make. There's a consequence. There's some type of, when you start something, you expect to see the progress. You expect to finish. Well, it's all the same. It all requires the same things. But distraction is just distraction. And so if I could remember, then I'm going to shout on this mountain. Every chance the door opens and I see a light, I'm going to go after it until the door shuts again, until I wake up, or I go back to sleep. Until I have no choice but to go to work, because it pulls me away it takes me away. I could never stay in this light. I could never stay in this place. You see, everything in this world is temporary because it's not your will. It's not my will. Someone's made it this way. They made it to where it was going to be hard to follow the straight and narrow. They've made it this way for us to forget, though we can try and try again, but we're going to forget. But you come to the realization that it wasn't about it wasn't about necessarily remembering, because you can remember. I can remember. But if someone swipes it from me, blows it out, my light, which has happened, which still is happening, which is the agenda, which is clearly what is allowed, what does that leave me? What is left for them to see? Well, to see if I'm going to try, if I'm going to notice, if I'm going to plead, if I'm going to say something, if I'm going to make noise about it. Like, why do you keep allowing me to forget? Why are you trying to blow my light out when I'm trying to see? When I just remembered something, why is it fading? You see, it was supposed to fade. We weren't supposed to remember. We weren't supposed to we just weren't supposed to. And if we were, then it would be, but it isn't. But we still have the will to remember enough to know something. Just enough. They give us just enough to see. Just enough to keep going. Just enough. And I say, I get you giving us just enough, but I say it isn't enough. And that's it. That's just the acknowledgement versus just being okay with this, or not being okay with this, but not acknowledging it. I mean, as much as I commend older people that lived here and had to deal with this, I also can be disappointed for the ones that have lived long in this and have just not said anything. Maybe to themselves, but they've not said anything. They have not made a ruckus. I want a ruckus. I want you to shout on the mountain. I want you to do what you do when you have the energy to do it. I want to see. And I'm not seeing it. It's very quiet this way. This way that I'm seeing. This way is quiet. It's dark. It's desolate. Proving that no one is speaking. Maybe they know to themselves, but they're not saying nothing. And that is why you're alone. You're alone. You're few. You're very few. And though it is a sad thing, it's also a proud thing, because with being a few, you see that you can do all that you set your mind and your heart and your soul on. You can achieve it. you can get through it with just you, with no reminding, no one telling you, with everything against you. You still you still can see. You still are willing to acknowledge these things. I get it. That is why there's so much distraction, because it's comforting. It's the, like I said, the next best thing. And hey, there's nothing wrong with it, but it will become a problem, and it can, if you never wake up, if you don't know anything. Because in distractions, there's snares. In snares, there's just pits that'll keep you, that'll attach itself to you, that just makes it harder for you. Now you're stuck. And we want to be free. Understanding you're already a slave in this world when you're born into sin. Those shackles, that bondage, and then to place more chains on you because of the snares and the pits that we fall in, that we choose to go into, decisions that we make. I'm just saying, it's already heavy. We are already a slave in this world. That is why there are certain people that complain about the decisions that they made. Of course, it's not surprising, because it was already hard. You were already a slave. You're already chained. You're already in bondage. You're already in sin. And now these decisions, the things that you're having no choice now but to take on, is devastating. I'm sure it's heavy. It's more, much more. And if I can keep my sanity, well, then that means having a sound mind, keeping straight and having clarity, not getting, you know, not getting, not just stuck, but just caught up. Hmm. Yeah. And we can all get caught up, you know? We get caught up naturally in emotions, right? That's why you want to pray. You know, you want to just speak to God and thank Him that this never happened, that never happened. You saved me from this, you saved me from that. I made it till 30. I made it to 30 without any extra burden, any extra thing, any extra accountability. That's why you speak out, you acknowledge certain things, because my goodness, understanding this, okay. I am not a woman that is there goes my fridge. I am not a woman that's against What word should I use? Well, I should use what I believe it is. Love. I'm not against love. Love is companionship. Love is partners and all those things. Love is children. Love is family. Love is all those things. So yes, why would I be against love? True love. But I'm saying this to say, oh, thanks. I'm saying this to say, true love has to not just exist, but be, meaning present itself. If it does not exist in a person's life, if it has not made itself known, seen, then you continue in your journey and your philosophy. And I say this because clearly true love has not presented itself to me. And if it would have, then my dreams would come true. True love, family, kids, all those things would make sense. But this is my journey, and it's a purpose that I'm on. So, no, all that has presented to me is all of what I speak. All of what I witnessed had to be in, among, in the midst of, in the city of rats. This has become the testimony of the book that I'm reading and that I'm speaking. There's other books, just like there's other lives, there's other times. But in this time, this book, this world, this version, it's just this book, this version, this world, and this time. But there would be so many different worlds, so many different times for it, and there it is. Believe. I believe in that. I know that. My soul speaks of it. I don't have to think too deep about it. It's apparent. If true love has not found me, then it's not time. I mean, my goodness, I'm only 30. And even if I was 40, I'm only 40. I need to learn. I need to grow spiritually. People forget about that because they've been so distracted on what the flesh and their philosophies are. If you're not learning or growing in who you are not ready. I don't care if you're aging on the surface. I'll be 31 this year, and then I'll be 32. It doesn't matter about the age when it comes to what's meant for you, because what's meant for you will come when it's time to. And when it's time to, that is God giving you these gifts that He has promised you, but in His divine timing. And in His divine timing is when His baby is ready, when His daughter is ready. And me working, me accumulating material things will not prove my readiness, will not prove my worthiness. I may desire so many things. True love being one of them, because why would I ever want any less than it? If I truly wanted to give someone my all, why would I not want that in return? So yes, true love would be a desire. I didn't say just any love. I said true love, meaning you want the true love to be the one and only. There'll be no need to let left and right. No, this is the one. The one we all dream about. The one that when we were kids, we heard folk tales about it. And also the way God would want us to have and spend our life with one person. But if that one person is not for me and I not for him, then Father, do not bring it my way. Do not even have it in my mind. You see, I don't even ask for such things. Like if I'm not ready, then I'm not ready. I'm not going to just ask for things knowing I'm not ready. No, I'm asking to help me get ready. If I'm falling asleep or if I'm delaying, I'm distracted. Father, help me stay, as tough as I am, I will say things like, let me do it myself. Even when I say help me, no, let me do it myself. So I already know that when my life is the way it is, it's because I've chosen it to be. Spiritually and physically, I know how I am. I know what I'd say, especially to my Father. And I tell him, just as a stubborn bull, I can do it myself. Even when I plead, just bring me through it. Just bring me through it. And it's the same way as you're gonna feel the fire. And though you may yell or cry, if the reason for you going through the fire is to make you see and realize something, maybe your strengths, then he's not going to take you out of it. So I'm saying that I am one to voice it. Do not take me out of it. But he wasn't anyway. He wasn't going to do it anyway. Because he has a bright future for you. And that future is prosperous. And that future is a future you that's ready for it. And the only way that you'll be ready for it is if you've gone through it and if he's brought you through this. That's the only way to the other side. You can't just not believe when you're existing in it. You can't just change what has already been created. It's about accepting. And that is why they can believe all day. But if you don't believe in the Holy Spirit, if you don't believe in the Antichrist, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, it all comes down to acceptance. You can believe all day. You can know the truth. But will you still accept me? Will you still accept what his ways are, his will? Yeah, it's hard. Meaning it's hard for people to not like it. Of course you're not going to like it. It's not your will. And that's why people try so hard to control their lives. And you hear so many people's philosophies about it. People that don't align with the Bible and certain things, they don't like that the Bible says that, your life is not your own. They don't like that. And regardless of what they don't like, the truth is that you can control your life all you want, right? You have the free will, but there is a will. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why there's sin. There's a reason why he warned you. There's a reason. So there is a will over our lives. Now, what we want to do in our lives and control in our lives is up to ourselves. And if you want to bypass God's will, because of course, he's going to tell you, right? If you're under someone's will, he's going to tell you what to do or what not to do. He's going to try to remind you. And of course, it's someone else's will, meaning it's someone else's control, right? They're trying to control certain things in your life, right? Maybe prevent certain things. But if you don't find his ways to be your ways, right? He says, oh, you should only walk this way. And you want to say, well, I want to walk this way. You can. And you do. But that is ultimately up to you. And that should be your intimate relationship with your creator. Now, to voice it with such ignorance and hatred toward a certain religion or a certain book or a certain person is another thing. And that shouldn't be tolerated because it gives off another impression. But of course, ultimately, you can do whatever you want to do because no one can control you, you see. And just like us being who we are as humans, we usually are hard-headed and we don't find out until we have exhausted everything. Getting burnt and left and right, when God always said to kind of stay on this path. We weren't going to stay on this path, but we have to give him credit. He was only doing what a father would do, good shepherd. That's all. You don't have to stay on this path. And even when you sway, he says we're not perfect. So there's nothing hypocritical about it. But if you're just going to rely on just a book, a person, yeah, that could be helpful if it's a book that is meant for you to succeed. But you should know inside yourself. No book has to tell me I'm imperfect. I know I am. No book has to tell me I'm a child of God. I've realized I am. No book has to tell me that God is in me. I can hear it. I know to see it. Knowing is key. And I'll leave it there.